What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? What it is? Steeler Nation, what's popping, man? Here we are with another episode of the post-game reaction show. It's not a real official show, but, I do a post-game reaction. And we'll just talk a little bit about what happened tonight in the preseason game. Not a whole lot to talk about. Not a whole lot to be excited about. But I got a couple things to point out. But what's happening, everybody? I see some of y'all are already throwing up. What's happening? Again, man, some of y'all want to, y'all want to tell me, it's preseason. Okay. I said what I said last week about the backups in terms of defensively, most importantly, and it showed itself again tonight. Let me turn this music down. But let's say hello to the early commenters, man. What's happening? MT Mooch, Steelers Cards, Crazy Ron Gaming, Mark Cunningham, my man Y Diggy, my good brother Kenyon in the building, Antoine in the building. Hello, the lovely Lanisha is in the building. Hello, Miss Lady. Hope you're having a lovely evening. Guys, y'all know the routine. Say hello to the lovely ladies of Steeler Nation. Who else is up in here early? Real G Lee. Nate the Goat 253. He says fins up. Oh, okay. Good luck to the fins. My girl Sade in the building. What is happening, Sade? Another lovely lady of the chat. Make sure you say hello. CT Pittman, Ollie Howard, who is that? Stank Ma, Jack Bauer, A Philly, Eric McDuffie, Vista Light, how's it going, man? Sonny Roth Miller, Fly High says D-line is suspect. Leonard Green and Will Innit right about there. Let's get to it, shall we? Y'all know how I do, man. Usually, I'm already in mode. I'm in season mode already, where I usually will talk about the first drive, and then I'll talk about the first defensive series. And then I've kind of switched it up a little bit, man. Now I'm just going to break it down offensively. I'll give you my takeaways and highlights. Defensively, takeaways, highlights, injuries, penalties, and that's it. In and out. So first up, let's talk about a couple injuries. I think it was just one that I can remember. I don't know if there was another one. I may have missed it, but we saw Peyton Willis. There it is. Y'all keeping track? There it is again. Peyton Wilson. I'm going to call this dude Willis for a long time. But we saw Peyton Wilson go down early in the third. He looked a bit woozy, but he did jog off the field. Hopefully he's okay. We can't afford a guy like that to go down because I want him to be in the fold. I want him to continue to get experience. And again, I want him to be a part of the rotation and maybe use him in key situations with his speed and tenacity. So definitely don't want him to go down. I don't know if there was another one. That's the only one that I remember. Penalties. And again, I may have missed a few of them, but Donnell Washington was called for holding in the second quarter. Who in the world is McMichael? Who is that? Who is McMichael and when did we sign him? This was a guy on defense that got called for a horse collar, even though I'm not sure that was a horse collar because he kind of got the back of the jersey. I didn't feel like he got the inside of it, but whatever. Who is that? Who is McMichael? But anyway, he was called for the horse collar in the third quarter. Mason McCormick was called for a false start, and that was on a 2nd and 1. And then there was a point in the fourth quarter where everybody was a false start except for the center. And then P. Ryan also had a block in the back on that Scotty Miller punt return. And again, I think I missed a couple of the penalties there. There was a couple there, but those are the ones that I remember. Offensively, first series. The Steelers, they start the drive from the 30. They start the drive with a pass to Van Jefferson, picks up 4 yards. They come right back with Najee Harris. He only gets a yard. Brings up would have been at that point, let me see, 4 yards. Yeah, he got 1 yard. That would have been on 2nd and 6. And we brought it to a 3rd and 5, and then Calvin Austin was called for a false start. That's who I forgot, Calvin Austin. Calvin Austin was called for a false start as well. Brings up a 3rd and 10. The very next play, Broderick Jones gives up a sack, and the Steelers go 3 and out. Defensively, first possession, the Steelers force a 3 and out. Nick Herbig comes up with a sack. Looks like the Steelers might have sent some heat because it looks like we sent somebody on the outside. Graham, number 37, and I'm going to talk about that as well. But yeah, Steelers forced a 3 and out, so the defense looked pretty decent there. Now let's talk about offensive recap. And again, these are just things that stuck out in my mind as I was typing. The Steelers went 3 and out. 3 out of the first 4 drives. They were 3 and out. With Russell Wilson. With what would assumingly be the first team offense. Now I'm going to talk about those 3 and outs because what was interesting, some of the play design and calls that we were running, I didn't really have a big issue with it. Let me rewatch the game and I'll maybe come back Tuesday and give you a second opinion. But at first glance, and I'll get to that, talk a little bit more about that in a moment. At first glance, I didn't have a huge problem with the actual design of the play calls. We just didn't convert, or we were giving up sacks. Speaking of giving up sacks, well, I'm going to hold this for last. I'm going to get there in a minute. Chris Boswell, Wizard of Oz, missed a 52-yard field goal in the second quarter. I saw, even though it was not successful, I did see Justin Fields running some zone read. I like it. Because, again, I think we will be able to utilize this once we master it in key situations. Goal to goal, 3rd and short, 4th and 1, things like that. I like it. If we could keep repping it, but it was good to see it on display. We had heard about it in in training camp, which was at St. Vincent College. But listen, I like that element because, again, just think about what stress it puts on the defense and defensive coordinator. We've seen Lamar Jackson do it for several years now. I like adding that element with a guy that you have to respect in the run game. So I absolutely like Justin Fields potentially running zone read with Jaylen Warren or Najee Harris. But we didn't convert it. We did not convert it, but it was good to see. Fields missed. Justin Fields did miss number 15, whoever that was. Not sure of the name at the moment, but he missed him for a touchdown in the fourth quarter, man. He had him one-on-one against their safety, it looked like. Or it may have been the corner, but it looks like more like safety. Had him one-on-one, threw it high, and just missed him. If he puts that ball on him, it's a touchdown. But then Fields comes back and he avoids a sack and finds Dez Fitzpatrick to convert on that 3rd and 7. Quite the acrobatic play there. Breaks out of the sack, rolls to his left, finds Dez Fitzpatrick on the sideline. So again, we'll talk about Fields here before I wrap up the show a little bit later. Some interesting things that we saw that is very telling between him and Russell Wilson. Defensive recap. First off, I'm going to put this in defense because it helps with the defense. Cameron Johnston. Oh, we have a punter. And we definitely have to see how consistent he is. He was consistent at his previous team, but we got a punter. His second punt of the night was 61 yards. 61 yards in the air. We got ourselves a punter. Following that, Steelers also put up, I said that 61-yard punt was, it followed 2 consecutive back-to-back 3 and outs by the Steeler offense. Keanu Benton in the time that he was out there, flashed, showed what he's capable of, man. Looked very quick out there tonight. Looked quick, looked strong, was disruptive. That's what we need from Keanu Benton. It was good to see that. Of course, our full complement of players did not play. T.J. Watt, Cam Hayward. I did think I saw Minka out there a series or 2, but that was about it. But yeah, largely what you would expect to be first-team defense looked pretty solid, man. And like I said, plug in Keanu Benton in that mix. Keanu Benton was disruptive. Good to see that. Miles Killebrew gets an interception. Good to see that. Just good to see the secondary lurking and guys being in the right spot. And he's able to get a pick, even though we understand who the quarterback was who threw it. It's still good to see our defense come up with a turnover. Peyton Wilson, he helped to save a touchdown with a PBU late in the second quarter. You remember that? You know, he was kind of playing the guy in the flat, and then he got underneath that throw to the guy in the back of the end zone. I think it was with the tight end, I believe they were going to. Got his hand up there, helped to tip that ball away. So, again, in 2 consecutive games, man, there's at least something that Peyton Wilson did that you could say, okay, I see you. So, definitely want to see that kid continue to grow, stay healthy, hopefully, and be a part of the rotation at inside linebacker. Second and third team defense just got ran on, man. I mean, guys, it was pretty pathetic. It was pretty pathetic. Y'all remember I came in here and said that last week about our backups? But I'll get to that in a moment too. Well, I guess I can get to that right now because there's not anything else I need to really get to. I did write a section here from Mike Tomlin. I did write not mad at the challenge. I don't know why he didn't challenge the play last week, but I'm not mad at him challenging what we thought could have possibly been a catch by George Pickens. And there go George Pickens again. George Pickens again, doing things and making it look natural. The way this guy twist and turn, contort. There he is again. How did he get he drug his feet and just didn't quite bring the ball in, so they didn't call possession, but he had it. That boy's, he's nasty, bro. He's nasty. See some of you guys saying tackling needs to improve. Yeah, and like I said, it goes back to what I was saying, man, about last week I came on here and I said, listen, what is it with the backups? A lot of people will continue to say, oh, it's preseason. They'll get better. Okay, but what about the other teams? I'm going to keep saying that. And this was a very defensive game, so I'm not going to overblow it, but it was clear. That second and third team, because I don't know if it was the second or third. It was probably a mix of both. But the way the Bills came out and just ran that ball down their throat. It's just like, bruh, whatever unit was out there, and these are guys, some of these guys are going to have to make the roster. We just look horrible. And yeah, we did get the Bills back a little bit. We started to run the football a little bit, I think, also in the third. But again, that defense looked more scrappy. They got after it a little more as far as their backups. How they attacked Justin Fields on that 4th and 2. You know, they just looked more, I don't know. And again, I know a lot of people, the first thing people always try to say, oh, it's the coaching. No, I don't believe that. It's just the roster that's assembled. Our depth is just not, and I'm not looking for depth players to be great. It just seems like the drop is tremendous when we go from first team to rotational player or backup. Tremendous. Nobody, it's nobody that you see really pop. They was just cutting through that line like butter, man. But hey, we'll see. Listen, let me not blow it out of proportion. It's just something I'm keeping my eye on because that's something that I notice a lot, and I'm tired of seeing it. We got to find a way, man, to get these guys either get better guys on the roster or something. I mean, they were just getting blown off the ball like bad. Bad. Now, let's talk about Broderick Jones. Boy. Okay. Again, I will acknowledge two things to entertain you guys who feel this way. One, hey, it's preseason. He's got time to improve. Okay. But let me remind you guys and let us not forget Broderick Jones played a healthy amount of time last season. He played against those Buffalo Bills at right tackle. So what I'm saying is, yeah, I assume that he could get better, and I'm looking for him to progress. But I can't really give him as much of the pass as I would someone else because he played a healthy amount of time last season, on the job experience. So I would hope that he wouldn't give up so many sacks. What was it, 3? Was it a total of 3 he gave up? Matter of fact, I gotta get the light out of my face. I want you guys to really see. Get that shade out of my face. I want you guys to really see my thoughts here. Come on, Broderick. I've been sitting here talking about, let the young boys cook. And you was looking. Now, that was at right tackle. Some people might say, okay, I'll give us this. If that want to make us feel good, we want to try to find something to make us feel good. Oh, I want to see him in his natural position of left tackle. Okay. All right. I'm just saying, last year, a lot of us was raving at how well he was playing at right tackle. And then here we are against stiff competition in the Greg Rousseau. And again, that's my second point that I would give people. It was Greg Rousseau. This dude is a thoroughbred up-and-coming type of dude that's, a legit D lineman rusher. Yeah, he is. But still, I don't care if he's a legit or not. We still have to question, why our guy gets beat handedly, consecutively. And then once Rousseau goes out, another guy comes in and beats him as well, again. And I think the guy that beat him was the rookie kid that the broadcasters were talking about. I was watching it on my IPTV, so the broadcast that I watched had Bills commentators like Steve Tasker and guys. So they were talking about the rookie Solomon, I think his last name is. So Broderick Jones got worked by both of those cats. 3 sacks he gave up. That's not good, gentlemen. It's not good. Because what could end up happening in that case, let's say Broderick Jones declines. We could be looking at Fatanu and Dan Moore. Just saying. But we'll see. We'll see. Outside of that, guys, I didn't really have a whole lot more. Outside of this, boy, this is going to be an interesting season, right? Because, Russell Wilson, when he was out there, they couldn't get the offense going. Again, we gave up some sacks, so I'm not putting it all on Russell Wilson. Not at all, but it's going to be a very interesting thing to watch. We're going to have to really pay attention to how things transpire with Russell Wilson at the helm. What type of plays we run. Can Russell get comfortable back there? I still believe in Russ in the deep ball. But what's very interesting and what was very evident tonight, especially at moments where the offensive line wasn't holding up as well, Justin Fields might be your best option to get you out of some trouble. Justin Fields is going to make a few mistakes here and there. He's going to miss a guy like he missed homeboy in the end zone for the touchdown. But I saw 3 or 4 times tonight, I saw moments when I was like, ooh, Russ can't do that. So I'm saying it's going to be interesting because let's say Russell Wilson doesn't play that well or the offensive line is not playing up to snuff. You might have to switch over to Justin Fields early just because he gives you that that fighter's chance with being able to use his legs and being able to get him in more boot action and know he's a real threat. Russell Wilson is not much of a threat on boot action, right? Not much of a threat that he's going to take off and pick up 15, 20 yards. He might be a threat enough to say, okay, if he boots out, he could scramble, get 4 or 5, something like that. But you're not, as a defender, you're not really worried so much about Russ at this stage of his career if he boots out. Whereas Justin Fields, you got to play that thing. You can run them plays like the little boot action we ran and he hit Connor Haywood to pick up the first. You can run that with Fields. You can run zone read with Fields. Fields can break out of sacks and take off if necessary. It was quite a few times tonight. Then you say to yourself, yo, take off. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. I think Russell Wilson and the offense has to really cook to keep Fields off the field, only because I'm just talking about what he could possibly bring to the table if offensive line isn't playing the way you thought they would. He still gives you a fighter's chance. I just would hope that Justin Fields can find a way to just tighten it up a little. Get that accuracy together. He made some decent throws tonight, but again, if we could get Justin Fields to consistently make plays like hitting the dude in the end zone, like if you could get him to play like that, what a threat he could be. And none of us know if he will. I'm just giving him a fair shake and a fair chance and a Steeler uniform under a new offensive coordinator where I'm not going to forget that most of us also said when he was in Chicago, it was the worst situation he could be in, and with Nagy and all those guys, bad offensive scheme, bad line, bad this. So I'm just curious to see what type of talent he could potentially have, with more structure. If he could by any chance elevate his game, he could be a very interesting quarterback, man. So I'm interested to see that. Like I said, you saw moments of it tonight. Where you was like, man, at least he could get us out of a pinch. So Russell and the offensive line will have to play very stellar, in my opinion, if I'm a coach, to keep me from going to Justin Fields after the fourth, fifth game. And that's just how I'm feeling right now. But yeah, man. That's all I really got, man, as far as my notes. Let me see what you guys got. Throw some things at me, man. How you guys feeling out there? Leon Harris Jr. says, right on, Justin is the best fit because of the O-line woes. Yeah, he is, man. Rajon said, Kenny was a dog in preseason last year. After that, womp womp. Yeah. What else y'all got? Kev So Nice says, I wonder if Warren and Peyton Wilson and Kenny, now he doing bad in Philly. Huh? That's not a whole sentence. I'm not sure what you're saying there, Kev So Nice. You said, I wonder if Warren and Peyton Wilson and Kenny now, he doing bad in Philly. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're trying to say there, my brother. Stankma says he could be dangerous. He could, man. In the right situation, he could be dangerous. Oh, you said Austin had the false start on 3rd and 3. Yeah, he sure did. Yeah, and I think I mentioned that. That was on the first series. Unless he had another one. What else y'all got? I'm definitely intrigued about the quarterback position competition. Real G Lee says Russ is still only going through 2 reads and rolling the same things he got in trouble for in Denver. Jacob Ballinger says, why wait until 4 or 5 games? Because, again, if their mind is sold and set on Russell Wilson, I think it's inevitable that you're going to give him a few games. That's the only reason why I say 4 or 5. Calling it from what I saw tonight, this is just me. From what I saw tonight, I clearly see that, Fields might be our best option, man, and at least until the offensive line can get it together. And again, I'm not down on the offensive line or anything like that because it is early. Again, I hate that I have to always say that because there's other teams seem like we don't, and some teams are just like us. They struggle at first. But I'm saying there are teams as well that they just look better earlier, if that makes sense. We always got to get it going. Casual Friday says, wasn't our line supposed to be a strength coming in? Yeah, but I will say this, Casual Friday, even though I'm saying I'm tired of being on the opposite, the end of it where we got to be like, well, they'll get better, but it is true. None of us should be reading too deep into what we're seeing here in preseason. None of us should. And if we're being honest, we were facing the Buffalo Bills first team minus Josh Allen, but that first team defense, so it's the first action, and it was a defensive game for both teams. So I'm not down on them yet. It's just what I'm talking about now is things to keep an eye on. Things to keep an eye on. So I'm not going to sit right here today and say, oh, the offensive line is trash. I mean, clearly what we saw is Broderick Jones had a bad night tonight. And he was mostly the reason why a lot of those drives got cut short because of the sacks. Najee Harris did look good. Najee, I didn't see, maybe because he couldn't get going, I didn't see him look any faster. He still looks like a lumbering type of back. But, Najee was running relatively hard. What else y'all got? Anybody else? That's true. Rajon says some teams' offensive line have been playing together for a while. That is very true. That is very true. And that's why you guys didn't hear me talk about the O-line as a whole. I singled out Broderick Jones. Why Diggy says, I'll give the O-line some grace because of the new system. Facts. And I'm in agreement with all of you guys, man. That's why, I just wanted to respond to the good sir there who was saying, Casual Friday, isn't the offensive line supposed to be the strength? Yes, but again, we can't judge them guys today. We really can't. Jack Bauer says, if the competition is close, I want Justin to get the job. This way we can see for next year. Russ isn't the future. Very true. Fly High says, Justin just has mobility over Russ, which is good, but he has to work on his accuracy and arm strength. No. Accuracy, yes. I don't think there's nothing wrong with Justin Fields' arm strength. Am I wrong, guys? Do you guys agree with me, or are you in agreement with Fly High? I don't think there's an issue with strength. Not whatsoever. I think he just got to get his accuracy together. But I think his arm is plenty strong. His arm is right. I think Zach Frazier did okay. Again, y'all know it's hard for me to analyze the offensive line as a whole when I'm on first watch because I'm looking at everything. I always go back and watch it so I can tell you specifically what I thought about the O-line unless something stands out like Broderick Jones' sacks. But Frazier, I did see a time or two where there was some penetration up the middle, so I'll have to go look and see, how Frazier did largely. But I think he did okay. I mean, one thing that we could say he did better than Herbig is there was no exchange situations tonight. The CQ exchange was great. So there you have it. Real G Lee says, Sim, did Russ lose pole position? Not the starting job, just pole position. That's a very good question. Very good question. Yeah, some of you guys saying, no, there's no issue. Yeah, I don't think there's an issue with the boy arm at all. Yeah, not at all. Yeah, that boy, he got a cannon on him. And again, that's probably why he missed homeboy so badly. Like he wound up and, he wound up that one like he was supposed to be playing across the street at PNC. Yes, sir. But yeah, largely, man, that's how I feel about tonight's performance. Not the greatest, not the worst. Um, Absolutely, Tony, man. That boy Nick Herbig, yeah, he's going to be an issue, bro. I like it. I like it. I like it. Herbig carrying over that momentum from last season, man. And I think he's going to play a pivotal role as well. Um, yeah, I think he will as that third rusher. I think we will see him quite often on the field. Patrick Queen looked like he was sniffing out the ball a little bit tonight as well. I saw him a couple times. Excuse me. But yeah, I saw Patrick Queen doing his thing a little bit, man. So, like I said, largely I didn't have an issue with the defense. I saw Troy Trice. I was about to call him Troy Trice. Saw Corey Trice playing early. So I look forward to looking at that film as well to kind of analyze his play. I want to know what happened to Beanie Bishop. I didn't see him dressed tonight, and I'm curious to know why, especially with the Arnold kid. Remember Graylin Arnold we talked about on Tuesdays? Apparently he got injured, and he's going to be down for a while, so the competition is between Bishop and somebody else, which I think Graham was who we saw in there tonight. I'm wondering why we didn't see Beanie Bishop. If maybe one of you guys know. Did you guys hear about him being injured? Because I needed to have seen him in that type of action. Because, again, there is a question mark. There's a question mark at the slot corner right now, especially with Graylin being down. Because Graylin was the guy who was making some noise to keep an eye on. And when we all thought Beanie Bishop was the only one making noise, and then we didn't see him tonight. So, yeah, he sat out. But so he was not injured. So there was no injury that any of you guys are aware of as far as Beanie Bishop. So my question to the Tomlin and crew is, why did he sit out? Why? Anybody that we're considering at the slot corner, we need to play. And play against guys like tonight. Yeah, he did, Mark. I thought Patrick Queen showed up a few times tonight. Right. So again, the question is, and I asked me and Kenya talked about it as well during the game. Why didn't he play? That's all I want to know. I want to know what was the reason behind him not playing. Coaching decision, injury related, because why else wouldn't you play one of the guys that you are more than likely putting in that position, who, again, in pole position, why wouldn't you play that guy? Okay, y'all saying he has a ham. Okay, great. That's all I needed to know. He's dealing with a hammy. Okay, cool. But, Graham, I saw Graham flash a few times. Man, he had a nice PBU in man coverage. So, we'll see. Ooh, Real G Lee says, Russ looked dejected. I don't think they set him up for success. He's not a pocket passer. He's not Ryan Tannehill. Give him 2 reads, roll him out. Yeah. Yep, Peyton Wilson, name popped up a few times again tonight. Yeah, I mean, I guess agree to disagree, fly high. I don't think there's I see what you're trying to say when you're saying he doesn't have any zip on it, but I don't, as I sit here today, man, I have zero issues with arm strength when it comes to Justin Fields. I just don't have any problems with it whatsoever. I just don't. Mark Robinson was better tonight. There was a couple times, and he had a nice tackle in the hole as well. There was a couple times where I looked and I said, oh, it was Mark Robinson on that play. Had a special teams tackle, I believe, as well. So he played better tonight. And that spot is up for grabs. It's up for grabs, the fourth inside backer. Because, they usually don't keep more than, they usually keep 4 or 5. So that fourth spot, right now, clearly to me, especially with Holcomb out, right now it's Landon Roberts, it's Patrick Queen, it's Peyton Wilson, right? That's it. Those 3 guys, and then Mark Robinson or Dirty Red or whoever else. But again, it's all going to depend as well. It's going to come down to who or if Cole Holcomb makes it back off of PUP. I think you keep him, of course. And I'm looking at the 4. If they go 4, I'm looking at, Holcomb, Roberts, Queen, and Wilson. Peyton Wilson has a concussion. Yeah, the boy looked woozy. Definitely looked woozy. All right, I'll read one more, man, because I don't think I've read. Jaylen Warren left with a hammy as well. I don't think I've read anything from this name. Still a Nation 412. He says offensive line was shaky again. If this will be the case on offense again, then we will have the same exact. Okay, I think you meant same exact offense for the last 4 years. And this won't cut it in the regular season again. Yeah, like I said, man, I'm with you. I'm with you in theory, but again, I will say it's hard to say if the offensive line sucks in one preseason game. It's hard, and the reason why I say one is because it wasn't much going on against Houston. Guys were in and out. It wasn't. Tonight was more of the starting cast, more consistently. So after seeing that one unit, you can't call it tonight. You just can't, at least me. But I'm with you in theory. If they don't progress earlier, by week 5, we need to have seen these guys are getting their footing. If they don't, then like you said, the results could be the exact same because I don't care what type of offense you have, what type of scheme you have, what type of quarterback, what type of receiver, what type of running back. If them trenches ain't working in your favor, none of it matters. None of it matters. Robert Long says, an aging and slow Russell Wilson and undisciplined Justin Fields, who was vulnerable to game-losing turnovers, at least they've got a better punter. Yeah. Johnson looked good out there, didn't he? Sure did. Yep. So Tomlin mentioned that in his post-presser about the penalties and possession downs. Okay. But I'm with my brother Kenyon, man. Guys, they are playing vanilla and stuff like that. But again, even with that, I'm still gonna stick to what I said. Why is that always what we have to say about the Steelers? Why? Because these other teams, we're losing. You understand what I'm saying? And it ain't about wins and losers because wins and losses because we went undefeated in one of them But I'm saying, at least in those games, we felt like, oh, man, that guys are playing. And that's what I'm saying. The feeling isn't there. Where some of these other teams look more equipped. That's all I'm saying. But we've seen in recent years, too, where we didn't lose a preseason game. But still, I don't know, man. The way they look, some of these backups, they just don't look capable at all. And that's all I'm saying. And you look at some of these other teams around the league, man, and it's the same backups. And they're playing well. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, I'm sure it's vanilla. Yeah, I'm sure it's early. But they just don't look great after you get past the first unit. And I'm cool with that low score today because in reality, with, again, first teams minus Josh Allen, which is a huge minus, just both teams was playing good defense. I'm cool with that. It's going to be like that. And I like games like that in the NFL where you got to scrap for your points. But we never came out of it. We just never came out of it. But that's all I got. It's still early. No panic buttons hit or anything like that. Let me see. Can I get one more from somebody else before I go? Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. Jeremy Espinoza said the offense looks atrocious. This was not a good week 2 preseason. Yeah, and that's where I would leave it. That's where I would leave it. I'm definitely not going to call it a season or nothing like that, but I will say this week 2 game just didn't look good. That's it. That's why I'll call it. But hey, man, you guys know I appreciate y'all rocking with me, man. Thank y'all. Looks like y'all picked up the likes for me, man, on Tuesday. I appreciate that. But I'm going to remind y'all again. Listen, if you're watching and you like the video, hit the like button. I don't understand why you wouldn't do that. It's free. Don't make me beg. If you like it, show your support. If you don't, thumbs down. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, if you enjoy the content, and also make sure you turn on those notifications so you know when videos are streamed or posted. And outside of that, man, let's just keep watching. Let's keep paying attention. Let's keep watching. Let's see what the boys going to do. Hopefully we can stay away from injury or serious injury, and we'll see. Get your hats ready, your jerseys, your T-shirts, your brouhaha, if that's what you do. And, that's what me and my boy Floyd used to call beer back in the day, brouhaha. Your liquors, toke up, if that's what you do. Whatever it takes for you to get yourself ready to watch the game and enjoy football season, get ready, man. We almost there. This might be a bumpy ride. It might be a smooth ride. It might be a downhill ride early. But either way, we here for it. But all right, man, stay healthy, stay safe. God bless. Good night. Thank you guys for tuning in. And like always, I shall say, see you in the next one. Peace.